Here at the JCC, we're about to see some young friendships
Yeah,
coming
right.
through. And I should mention that my daughter, Franny,
Yeah.
who's 22, went to the JCC preschool program here. So
She
this
did?
is a special place.
She must have graduated. That's not her.
That's not her. She's moved on. So come on, bring the kids through. That would be great.
So
Really-
this microphone picks this all up pretty easily.
It does,
Huh?
uh-huh.
Oh, great. I'm wondering because I'm out with mics, but it's going.
Talking about Kelly, one of the things that she talks about is that they try and stay a little bit away from politics. That they, even though some of them have much stronger political views than others, that they try not to go there to strain the friendship. But did I get that right?
Yes, you did. Well, I mean, it's interesting because Iowa is an interesting. Look how cute these little. Can we get these little kids on camera? They're the cutest. Here we go.
Yeah, that's great.
Wow, these are
Girls from Ames in the making.
Yeah, right.
Hi there.
Beautiful little kids.
Politics.
Yes. Iowa, you'd think of it, so, you might think it's a conservative state. It's actually not. It's you've got a lot of liberal thinking there. Ames was a university town. Iowa State is there. So they've got, you've got some that are sort of the blue state, the red state values, and some blue state values, and in the group of 11, there's some differences, and there's religious differences in there too. But they've argued plenty, but they sometimes think it's smart to stay away from it.
That was one of the other things that I wanted to ask you about was the religious differences and kind of how that played a role in some of the friendships. I love the story. I'm going to forget who it was. Was it Karen, who said because she was a Catholic, she couldn't do a sleepover because she had to sleep in her own
She came up.
home until she was baptized?
Yes, she was. I mean, I tried to find moments that would resonate with women reading the book, and so here Karen was afraid to go on sleepovers, but she came up with this elaborate excuse that if you die in your bed but you're at a sleepover, then you don't go to heaven because your Catholics don't go to heaven. She had this, and Jenny was like, they're 7 years old, and Jenny's thinking, wow, it's hard to be Catholic with sleepovers. So then her mother explained to her, no, she's just got sleepover anxiety. But so that's the sort of thing, that remains with you.
Now, Marilyn and Jane, who are two of the closest all through the years, I think later in Marilyn's marriage, she was married to someone and became much more doctrinal in her faith.
Yes. And
worried about Jane as a member of the Jewish faith not going to heaven and not being able to see her in an afterlife.
Yes. It's been interesting. They were so I mean, the beginning of the book, Marilyn and Jane are so tight. In fact, there's one of my favorite things in the book was when I read Marilyn's diaries, 6 years of diaries, and as I was reading, I came to the day, and she was a freshman in college. She went overseas to Europe, and she went to the Anne Frank house. And that night she came home and she said, if anybody ever comes for Jane, I'm going to kill them. It was her first homicidal thought of her life. And I was there to see it written in her diary. But they sort of drifted apart a little bit as adults. And maybe the religion had something to do. They're still close, but and they got nervous about that in the book, and it's a little toned down. What you read, what I originally wrote, they wanted me to change it. Just one example of many.
Okay. And it didn't bother you at all, I can tell.
To change it?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was a miserable... We spent, before the book was finally sent to copy editing, it was about a month of 10 women telling me how they wanted things changed. And none of it improved the book. Very little of what they asked me to do, in all honesty, improved the book.
Well, as long as you have an opinion, Jeff, I'm okay with it. We're going to be joined in just a couple of minutes by two women from the Columbus area who have a friendship that is very important in their lives, and we'll have them talk about what they saw about themselves in your book. I wanted to ask you, you have so many places of beautiful writing in this book, but one of the things that intrigued me, having read the last lecture, I don't know, can we pick up the last lecture?
You want me to pick it up?
That would be great.
It's this one, isn't it?
It's this one.
I knew that.
Yeah. And The Girls from Ames, and your most recent release that I'm aware of anyway, Highest Duty.
Right.
About Captain Sullenberger, who piloted the safe landing on the Hudson River.
Right.
You have some intriguing ability to capture the voice of the person that you're working with, but there's continuity among and between your books. I thought the Highest Duty book was...
Did you read that already?
I did.
You're the best interviewer I've ever been with. I've gone on major shows where they don't read a goddamn thing. Excuse me. But Which is okay. But for it's hard. It's hard to talk about something.
Well,
but you've read everything. You're good.
The most amazing thing about hindsight...
I didn't mean that. Can you cut that?
Yeah, no problem. And get my good side, too. Is the book is so like Captain Sullenberger. I mean, there is this kind of
voice.
reticence.
Well, I spoke to him for... Randy was 53 hours talking on the phone, and Randy had such a bubbly, optimistic, fun-loving, funny voice. So I heard him in my head, and he was a great storyteller, Randy. So that was Randy's voice. Captain Sullenberger is sort of intense and driven and exacting and precise and very smart, and also a good storyteller in his own way. It wasn't a barrel of laughs, but and that was 200 hours about on the phone. So and in person with Sully. So it wasn't hard to capture his voice because I heard so much of it, But that book is about how all the moments in his life led him to be able to do what he did on the Hudson.
And the subtitle is something like the things that matter.
Something, and
I felt badly. I didn't know.
My search for what really matters.
There you go.
I think that I think the book should have been called Sully. Maybe he's people have sort of fallen in love with him. I thought that, but he's right. The book is about his highest duty, which was saving lives. I mean, that's what he ended up doing, and that's what his whole life had prepared him.
I was going to say, in a lifetime of preparation and very overt lessons about his preparation.
Well, and the most striking is, his father had committed suicide, and he said he's always been drawn to the idea of saving lives, partly because he couldn't save his father, and it's not like his father was in his head in the cockpit. It was just sort of part of his persona.
Well, we're going to ask Toby Furman and Cheryl Pentella to come in. And Jeffrey, if I promise not to bite you, if you'll sit closer.
Okay.
We'll put one on each side of us.
So we're going to see how you're doing.
Cheryl, you
Cheryl drove me here. Yeah. I'm going to put my food down. I'm not eating it anyway. We okay with that?
Can you talk just a moment to give the people who are going to be seeing this an idea of your friendship, how it happened, how long it is, what it means to you?
Sure.
Quickly.
I worked for United Way. I was a consultant to United Way of America, Central Ohio. And Toby came in as the vice president of marketing, and she was my third vice president of marketing. So we met on a professional basis, and that quickly, like within the first week, within the first moments, turned into a real friendship for us. And it's just grown from then. I mean, there's some people that you meet that you just have an intimacy with immediately, and it was like that. It's a person who brings out the best in you, who is accepting and it's unconditional, who can rib you in all the right places and poke fun at you and be loving and affectionate, and we had that.
Let me pause for a second and get Toby to talk about what was it about Cheryl that was a moment of recognition for you?
Not only her brain, but also she has my sister's name. And living in New York for so many years, I never met another Cheryl that spelt it CH. So that in itself was just a nugget of connection for me, since I'm from New York and I don't have any family here.
How long have you been here?
14 years. So we have a friendship going back almost 9 years now, and she actually looks like my sister a little bit. Of course, much prettier.
And younger.
And much older, actually.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we're the same
Well,
age.
30's old.
Yeah, 30's old. But there was an instant connection, and I have never really had that happen in my female life. I have friends for many years, and this was very special for me because it happened unbeknownst to me. And professionally, it turned very quickly, as Cheryl said, into a friendship that has been very endearing.
Now, Cheryl said it was unconditional, but one of the things that rang so true for me about the girls from Ames is that, in fact, their friendships were at different times very conditional and very much, kind of not, oh, you're perfect, you're wonderful, you are without fault.
Oh, no. We've gone through some very hard times together.
Between you or just in your lives and you were helping each other?
Between us, we had a professional, hiccup. And
what was that? Let's hear it.
And speaking to the microphone.